From
Absolutely.
Wednesday to Thursday, our world changed. We went from this many embryos to this many embryos. We went from we can do a transfer. Hey guys, it is Sunday and the hair has never looked better. Right now, I'm going to put on my makeup. I got my outfit on. I need to finish up a video I started recording for this coming Thursday. And the weather forecast said that it was gonna be sunny today and it could not be cloudier. So I'm thinking if I put on makeup, the weather will get the message and realize I need some sun, some natural light for this video because I don't wanna record it with lights and stuff. I don't know, sometimes I just get in a mood and I'm like, I don't wanna use lights. I don't like how that looks. And I just don't want to deal with it. I'm in one of those moods for some reason. And I want to shoot it downstairs with nice natural light, but I don't know. It looks fine right here, but it could be better. It could be a lot better. I don't know. Just generally, I'm just kind of in a weird mood. I'm kind of frustrated and Luna is attacking me right now. Kind of frustrated. I'm kind of sad. I'm kind of mad. We got a lot of news this week. Some of it's good, but a lot of it is disappointing basically. And I'll tell you the whole story and everything. I really want to get this video recorded though, while there's at least some light. I don't know, because tomorrow it's supposed to be raining, like really, really bad situation to record in. I don't know, maybe I'll feel better once I pull myself together and make some progress, but I don't know, I'm just in a funk. And it's a situation where it's like, I'm mad about it, I'm frustrated with it, but that doesn't do anything. Like it doesn't help anything to be frustrated or mad about something. It's just like out of my hands, sort of. Ugh, it's just been a hard weekend and we had to make a really big decision. And it's been a hard decision to make for both of us. And that's why I'm starting the vlog on Sunday instead of Saturday, because we were just kind of consumed by this, talking about this, trying to decide, and I really have not been feeling super excited to vlog because we've just been stuck trying to make this decision, trying to figure this thing out, and it just didn't feel like the right time to vlog basically. But I don't want to get into it, but I definitely want to tell you the story. It's a conflicting feeling, basically. Anyway, I'm just going to put on my makeup, try to snap out of it. This situation is still happening here from last weekend. No progress has been made. We're going to try to make progress on that today, too. Do you see what just happened to me? Do you see what just happened to me? I'm so annoyed. All right, well, shock me, shock me, shock me. It is a solid cloud in the sky. Apparently, my makeup has no effect on the weather. Really? My hair is looking so floofy right now. I can't stop looking at it. This is day 3 of waves. This is what day 3 looks like. If you are someone that has been requesting a waves tutorial, asking how I've been doing my hair lately, I did a tutorial. It's a quick, super easy video because it's a really quick and easy hairstyle. So much so that I felt like it didn't merit a video because it's just so easy. But it's a quick and easy video. And if you've been looking for it, it's up. It went up last Thursday. I'll link it in the description down below. Right now, it is definitely lunchtime. I should have some lunch before recording, but my stomach feels off. And I don't know if it's like stress related or just like, I don't know. I just haven't had a great appetite since going through the whole last egg retrieval and all of the crazy stuff that happened. I just can never think of what I want to eat and never feel super excited to eat. Sometimes I am hungry, but it just, I don't know, it's a weird feeling because I'm always like down to eat, you know what I mean? But I have everything set up to record. I actually set all this up yesterday because I wanted to record this part yesterday, but it got all cloudy and I was like, no, it's gonna be sunshiny tomorrow. It's all gonna be good, but nope. It's very cloudy, but I'm just determined to do it. I am not gonna wait. I'm just gonna do it right now, get it done. I know it will make me feel better to be productive and get that out of the way. And Grant just went out to run an errand, so he's taking care of that. It's a perfect time for me to do this. And I do have everything set up, and I don't really like having a camera and a tripod in the living room for no reason. So I'm just gonna make it happen. Back at the kitchen table, and you know what that means.
We're very disappointed in you.
We're not disappointed in you at all. We're just disappointed in what you did.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not disappointed. Well, actually, we are disappointed. Like I said, feeling disappointed for sure. A lot has happened since the last vlog, and I kind of want to make this brief. And I feel like the reason why I'm feeling like that is, number one, it's not great news. So it's not a joyful moment to share. And also, I've told this story so many times and given these updates along the way, you know, over and over again, like relaying to friends and family, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Like I've told you guys before, we got a great update last vlog, or the day 6 update about the embryos. We had 6 from the retrieval, plus the one we had from the first retrieval, so that's 7, but we were still waiting on the genetic testing. And both of us were feeling super confident, as usual, probably overconfident. And I got the news back on Thursday from the genetic testing that 3 of our embryos from this cycle are transferable. So that means 3 of them are not genetically normal, and it wouldn't be a good idea to transfer them, so obviously we won't. So that does limit our numbers more. Even still, you know, a lot of people have outcomes like this. This is not like an extraordinarily bad outcome. Some people go through this whole process with the complications that I've had, all kinds of things, all kinds of twists and turns, and you can come out with no embryos. So we are thankful for the 3 embryos that we have from this cycle. But you know, like I always say, it's the roller coaster of IVF or fertility treatments. It's like, you know, one update, you're on a high, like it's a miracle. We got 3 more. Nobody expected this, including the embryologist. And then this week it's like, oh, 3 of them were genetically abnormal. And, you know, when they're doing those tests, the main reason why they're doing those tests is to prevent a miscarriage, because one of the reasons why miscarriages happen is because the embryo isn't chromosomally normal and it just doesn't make it, basically. So there's that. We were a little bit let down by that, but at the same time, it's still good news, you know?
Yeah.
It is a complete possibility that, you know, all of your embryos could test abnormal. You know, that's worst case scenario, but it could happen, and we're thankful that didn't happen. But meanwhile, during this, my cycle restarted, which was what we were waiting on to kind of hear next steps and what our next move is and what we're allowed to do and all that. And it restarted on Wednesday, and as expected, it was really hard, really intense and painful and everything. That's just what happens after an egg retrieval. They tell you to expect that, and that's exactly what happened for me. But I was happy that my cycle was restarting, because then I got to call the doctor, let them know, and on the phone, the nurse was automatically like, all right, well, what do you want to do for the next cycle? Do you want to do a transfer? Do you want to do an ERA? What's the next move? And I was like, whoa, okay. Like, I, you know, didn't know it was going to be like, okay, here we go. You know, I just kind of, it just felt too easy, I guess. And I was so excited. It's just like, that is what you're waiting for when you're going through all of this. You're like, I want to do a transfer. This is what all of this is for, you know, and you're just so excited. And we were both so excited that it was just like, yeah, we get to do this? Really? It's like, obviously that is the next step, but just to get the go ahead, it just feels so good. And so they had me come in the next day, which was Thursday, the day that I got the news about the genetic testing. And I did an ultrasound and blood work, and my estrogen tested a little higher than where they like to see it for a baseline. And so I got a call back from the nurse that afternoon. She let me know this, and she also said, the doctor wants you to do an ERA this cycle. And an ERA is basically where you go through all the motions that you need to do with a transfer, all the medication, estrogen, progesterone shots, all of this. And then the day that your transfer would be, you actually do a biopsy. And that biopsy gives more information on when your progesterone timing should be to optimize your transfer, basically. And it shows the receptivity of your uterine lining. Not a doctor, not a scientist, not explaining this perfectly, but that's basically what it is. And the nurse told me the doctor had recommended that. And I was immediately like, what? I don't want to do this. And I mean, obviously I want to do what I have to do for a best outcome. You know, obviously I've gone through it all with all of this. I think that you guys know I will do anything to do what's best, basically. But it just took me by surprise because we had a conversation with her a couple of months ago after our first retrieval, and she said that is not something that we really needed to do because typically it's something that people who have had multiple failed transfers do to get more information and to hopefully fix whatever is going on that's preventing them from having a good transfer. And since we've never done a transfer before, we didn't think we needed to do it. So I was like, wait, why? And you know, you don't get to talk to the doctor every time you go, of course. I mean, that would be ridiculous. The doctor is spread thin between so many people, and you go like every other day. That would just be ridiculous. So a lot of your communication is with the nurse, and she's relaying information from the doctor. And I was just like, wait, why? Why did she say that? Because she said this other thing before, and she kind of, you know, obviously doesn't have all the information, doesn't have all of the answers. So she kind of gave me a few different reasons, like why maybe she's suggesting it. And we didn't have a call scheduled with the doctor until this coming Thursday. So I would already be a week into this treatment, and it could be for a transfer or it could be for an ERA, and I wouldn't know. And obviously, if you're just doing the same thing, either way, it doesn't really matter whether you know, but it does. It just does matter whether you're doing a transfer or not. And I just needed more information, and it was a really frustrating moment. So we both talked after that phone call with the nurse, and we're just like, we gotta talk to the doctor. Like, we gotta get more information here because this is confusing and it's a letdown, obviously. And so we ended up getting a call with her on Friday. And I also had to go in Friday morning for another round of blood tests so that they could recheck my estrogen to see if it was going back down to the range where they want to see it. The doctor calls on a Friday afternoon, and obviously we have a lot to talk about. She went over more in depth at what the genetic testing really means, and we learned more about how day 5 and day 6 embryos have a higher chance of a successful implantation, successful transfer than day 7s, which, you know, that was our miracle that we talked about in the last vlog, and it still is. We got 3 more on day 7, and they pushed it 1 more day and allowed those embryos to grow. And so we are so thankful for those, because 2 of the embryos out of the 3 that came back genetically normal were from day 7, but they do have a slightly lower chance of success compared to day 5 and day 6. I hope I'm making sense on that. But our day 5 embryo is another genetically normal one, and obviously that one has like the best setup to make it, you know what I mean? So we learned more there, but really in general, IVF transfers, it's almost like a coin toss. You know, I think the natural average is around like 60%, maybe 65% success rate when they do a transfer. And that's really close to 50-50. Like it could work or it could not work. You just have to see. And so every little advantage you can have as far as like, oh, well, the day 5s do a little bit better than the day 7s, you know, that matters. And you want to give yourself the best chance, and you want to give those little embryos the best chance. So we learned a lot more about that. After that, she explained that my estrogen level did go down, but it didn't go down to that really good baseline range. It went down to like 72, where she likes to see it around 50 or 60. And she kind of was like, well, it's not what I love to see, but it's better that it's going down. If it was up at like 100, I would definitely say you can't do a transfer. And then she kind of moved on to talking about an ERA, because obviously that was one of our biggest questions. It was one of our biggest concerns, is why we wanted to have this call more than anything, because we were like, wait, what changed? Why are we, you know, changing the plan here? Like, we just need more of an explanation. And she explained a lot more about the benefits of that and what the benefits would be for someone or a couple that hasn't had failed transfers. But we learned a lot. She explained everything, and ultimately she said that it was kind of a miscommunication, that she didn't necessarily say, you guys need to do an ERA this cycle, or you guys need to do an ERA in general, but it's just an option basically. And it can benefit some people, but it's kind of a small segment of people that it really benefits. But it's just something that you can do on the front end to get more information if you want it, basically. And we decided with her, you know, that's not necessarily something that we need to do. We don't necessarily need to do it right now. Maybe in the future, if we have a failed transfer or whatever, maybe that'll be something that we want to do. But for right now, it was just something that she was explaining as an option, because she remembered us mentioning it in a phone call months ago. So that was kind of just a misunderstanding that honestly caused us a lot of stress, because we just didn't have a lot to go off of. And so we were just trying to learn on our own about it, and just kind of trying to come up with reasons like, why would she say that, you know? And that's just, I mean, that's just something that happens with communication with doctors. Like, it's just one person, and they have so many patients, and they can't, you know, have sit down hour-long talks with everybody every day. You know, it's just not doable. So that got cleared up. We got a lot more information on that. We feel a lot more informed. But then after that, Grant went back, and he was like, well, you know, we talked about this estrogen level, and she had to come back for a retest. Like, what does that really mean for us? Like, is this something we need to be more concerned about? What can we do? You know, more information, please. So she went back into explaining the estrogen level, and then she kind of, I don't know, I guess she just went into more detail with it and said, you know, I wouldn't be jumping up and down to do a transfer right now, which is like, she would do a transfer this month, this cycle, but it would be a little bit better. I would have a slightly higher chance at success if we just rested this month. And it was something that I was kind of prepared for. I think I even mentioned in the vlog. I know I've mentioned it to, you know, my mom and my sister. Like, she might tell me I have to wait a month, that's okay. And I've said that several times, but when it came down to it, after hearing on Wednesday, okay, your transfer is gonna be on November 12th, and we went in that afternoon. Grant came home from work early that day, and we were both so excited and like couldn't focus on anything else. We just like sat and talked and went on the little like conception birthday calculator and put in, it was like 5-day, 6-day transfer and everything. We'd already looked at the birthday, like based on November 12th transfer day. And I even put on my Instagram story, like, I got a new calendar, and that was my transfer calendar that shows you like whenever you take your estrogen and your progesterone, and this is your transfer day, and this is the day you take a pregnancy test. And like, I mean, it's what all of this is building up to, and it's a huge step. It is a huge next step, and we are so happy, and we feel so grateful and excited to be out of the egg retrieval step, because it has been really hard for us, especially in the last month. It's been really stressful and really painful for both of us, and it's just hard to hear that. And it was also just kind of confusing because she had mentioned the estrogen level earlier in the conversation, and then we kind of moved on from it. And then when Grant brought it back up, she was like, you know, you would be hurt about 5 or 10% if you went in with this slightly elevated estrogen level, meaning like, you know, your national average is like 65%, 60%, you know, having the higher estrogen level, it hurts you about 5, 10%, maybe down to actually like 50% or 60% or whatever. And every little percent is valuable to us, especially when we're talking about our embryos. There was a comment that came in the past week on my last vlog, and she said something, but generally at the end of the comment, she was like, you know, do you feel like a motherly, maternal, like protection connection with these embryos? And at first I was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of an off-putting question to me, because I was just like, well, of course I feel like that, but at the same time, I don't know what it feels like to be a mom. But, you know, those little embryos, those are our little like maybe babies. Those, like, every one that we hear that doesn't make it from step to step, that's sad for us. And, you know, like when we had that call with that embryo update, our day 3 update, that I didn't really like include the audio, like there was the one that, you know, had a lower cell count than the other 8. And we, you know, immediately we were focused on that one. And I was like, oh, that's a slow guy. And he's like, yeah, that slow guy, that's the one we're rooting for. And like, he's gonna make it, he's a fighter. Cause like, we're immediately like, you know, we're attached to them and we are rooting for them. And I'm like, could I like just go in and talk to them like plants? Like, would they grow better? You know, like, it sounds crazy. It is crazy, but it's just, you want to do anything you can to, I don't know, it sounds weird to be like, oh, you know, success rate and have success, but it's like, you want those little maybe babies to turn into babies, and you don't want to do anything to risk that, and you don't want anything to hurt their chances, you know what I mean? So that little 5 to 10%, that's meaningful. And even though in me, my gut reaction, my instinct is, I just want to do a transfer. You know, we've been doing all of this, the train has been rolling, I'm going full force ahead, you know, being brave, being tough, dealing with every single thing that comes at me and staying alive, surviving, you know, through it all. I want to do a transfer. And I also, I've talked about this before, I have a weird thing inside of me where it's like, I always feel like I'm going to win the lottery, you know, like anything I do, I'm like, I'm going to win, this is going to work out, this is going to be good. I'm like weirdly optimistic. I think that I kind of have both things inside of me, but my instinct is optimism and thinking like things are going to work out, which I think is good, but you know, it's good and bad, it's blessing and curse. But, you know, that's my instinct. But at the same time, you know, the more practical, I guess, mature side is saying that 5-10%, you know, that matters, even when it's a coin toss. Even when everything is optimal, it's a coin toss. Yeah. And so you don't want to hurt your chances at all.
Yeah, and I feel like every step, you know, things are kind of stacked against you. Like it's a coin toss, but, you know, you don't want to... There's
so many things that can go wrong for anybody, not just us. There are twists and turns and unexpected things. There are so many reasons why your cycle can get canceled. You know, you could ovulate at the wrong time. There could be no eggs. There could be no follicles. You could be a low responder. There's just so many things that can happen. And we've told our story, but there are so many stories and there are so many things that can happen. And in many ways, we've been lucky, even through all of these things. There are many things that we can be grateful for.
Definitely.
But it's just disappointing. But I'm lucky to have the husband that I have, and you guys already know this, because he's very practical, and he definitely, where I have the jump off the cliff, someone will catch you instinct, he is definitely a lot more hesitant and you know, he wants to do everything as safe as possible, and I do too. I have the two sides of me, you know. I'm also very indecisive, so this is something that we've had to talk about so much since Friday. And
well, and the thing was is that we had this phone call on Friday afternoon, and
I had already filled the prescription for the estrogen.
And she had to start that night.
And so it was basically like on the phone with the doctor. She's like, just call me on Monday. Let me know what you decide.
Yeah.
But like, really, we had to make this decision in a couple of hours.
Right.
Because I had to decide, am I going to take this estrogen pill tonight or not? Because if I don't take it, that means I'm not doing a transfer. If I take it, I'm on the road to doing a transfer. And it was a really tough night. It was a tough day. Mm-hmm. It was stressful. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, I was on one side and he was on another, because we definitely weren't. Like, we were both bringing up different sides, and at certain moments he'd be like, let's do the transfer. And at other moments where I'm like, let's wait. And we just kept going back and forth and weighing the pros and cons. But ultimately it comes down to the only thing that we're risking by waiting this cycle out and hopefully starting in my next cycle doing a transfer is sadness.
Yeah.
And, you know, just like emotional pain that, okay, there's another bump in the road. You know, there's more question marks on like, hopefully my levels are good on the next cycle and we can get to go ahead and do the transfer then. Mm-hmm. But ultimately we're not risking the embryos, and the stakes can't be higher, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it comes to the embryos.
Yeah. And we just, you know, we've got 4 and we don't want to do another stimulation. And I think you just have to go, you know, if everything's not really exactly lined up good for optimum success, then, you know, it's just the safest thing to do. Is probably the wisest thing to do. So
mm-hmm. We've talked to other people that have been in not this exact same situation, but everybody has their own story, you know, with IVF, and there's bumps in the road for everyone. Basically everybody has that sense of urgency, you know. Once you're like halfway into it, you don't want to wait a month and have a bump in the road you didn't expect and not be able to do your transfer. You just have this like, I want to do the transfer. Like, this is what this is all for, you know. I got my embryos, let's do the transfer. I think it is normal to feel like that, to just feel like, I want to do the transfer, like, let's just do it, you know. But ultimately our decision obviously is that we're gonna wait, and we're gonna you know, sit this cycle out, and hopefully my ovaries heal. Because, you know, when I went in for my ultrasound on Thursday, there was actually an ultrasound person that was training, and she had never done an ultrasound on someone that had just done a retrieval. And the woman that was training her, she was like, this is what they call kissing ovaries, because my ovaries are still so large from everything I went through, the hyperstimulation and everything. They're touching. So whenever they're measuring things and looking at the follicles and looking for cysts and all of that, you know, they don't have to really look around for the ovaries, because they are right next to each other and they're touching. And I guess that's not a usual thing. It is what it is. We'll make it.
Yeah, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, every step of the way.
Yeah.
So we're getting there.
Slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely.
It's just, you don't know how excited we were that day.
Yeah.
To get that calendar.
Yeah. They got really real.
Yeah, it did.
The calendar.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
This is it. It's like we got the calendar and we're like, we're pregnant. Like, we have a baby now. Like, this is it. Because that's how it feels. It's hard to explain to maybe somebody that hasn't been through it. Mm-hmm. But that's how it feels, you know. You're working towards something, and it's so punishing in every way, you know, because I've been through the whole egg retrieval thing where it hasn't gone our way, embryo wise, egg wise, but the physical side effects were more manageable, and now we've had it the other way where we've gotten luckier when it comes to the embryos, and definitely very unlucky as far as complications and side effects. And both are very hard.
It's a hard road no matter what.
And it's easy to forget that, you know, it's not just us, it's everybody.
Yeah.
But you just get stuck in your little bubble of like, what's gonna happen next? And it's scary because from one call to the next, your whole world changes.
Yeah.
It does. You know, from
absolutely.
Wednesday to Thursday, our world changed. We went from this many embryos to this many embryos. We went from we can do a transfer to transfers off the table, you know, and it really was left up to us. And it was a very hard decision to make.
Yeah.
I mean, from the outside, from y'all's perspective, it might seem easy, but maybe if you've been in the situation, you can see where we're coming from, that it was a tough decision to make. That's what's going on with us. I'm frustrated, I'm sad, but I'll be okay and I'll get over it, and we'll get them next time, like Grant said.
We'll get them next time.
We'll get them next time.
Yeah.
And thank you guys so much for your outpouring of support and prayers and eating cookies and happy thoughts and everything. It means so much to me. You know, don't stop eating them cookies. Just because we're having to take a month off, we need all the good vibes and all of the support that we can get.
Definitely.
And it just means so much to me to have you guys supporting us. And I mean, you know, we might never meet, but your comments matter. You know, when I'm having a week or, you know, the past few days, like yesterday, couldn't even vlog because we were just, oh, we didn't even tell you. Whoa, we didn't even tell. So we talked about how we only had a couple of hours to decide whether I was gonna take this pill or not, whether we're gonna do the transfer. I ended up taking it.
Yeah.
I took the estrogen pill on Friday night because we just couldn't decide. You know, deep down, both of us knew we should wait, but I wasn't ready to make that decision, basically. Again, it probably sounds crazy, but I was just like, you know what? We don't have to make this decision tonight.
Yeah.
We can just take the estrogen tonight and proceed almost like we're gonna go ahead and do the transfer. And if we decide against it, if we decide to wait, I just don't take it. And last night, Saturday night, after talking about it so much more, talking to my family, I decided, all right, let's just go ahead and wait. And I didn't take the pill last night. Anyway, that's what's going on with us. Thank you for listening. Thanks for coming to the family meeting. That's what we do here at the dinner table.
Yeah.
Right now, we need to jump back into a project that we started last weekend. Do you want to?
I think I got it in me to finish the one we've started.
Okay, we're gonna do one cabinet. We're at the point of actually, let's just go upstairs and I'll show you what I'm talking about if you don't remember from the last vlog. Okay, we've moved upstairs, and if you didn't see the last vlog, we have a little project going. Obviously, we haven't made a ton of progress, but we've done a lot of planning. And this little nook in the hallway right here, this little cutout in the floor plan of the house, it was meant to be a built-in desk, and we decided that that wouldn't really be super useful for us. And so we just wanted to find some way to make this storage. We explored a lot of different options, and we just decided to go kind of budget, and we found the Pax wardrobes from IKEA, and they're actually really, really tall, and we got 2 double door Paxes, and we're gonna get 1 more single door, and we're kind of just gonna like fill this whole cutout with cabinets, and we're gonna store things that we can't store in the attic. And it's really going to be super helpful storage wise, just because you just can't ever have too much storage. And Grant has made some progress, but now it's time for me to help, and we're going to make it happen. We're at least going to make one happen.
Yeah, and it's actually, we're like pretty good. I mean, it's going to take some time. You might be able to hammer some nails if you want.
Oh. Okay. All right, we had to kind of shift a couple of things around and it was not a very clear-cut process, but we are making progress. All right, we got this one into position. Obviously, we have to put in the shelves and we have to add the doors, and we also have to anchor it to this back wall to make sure it's super, super safe because it is a huge cabinet system. But we decided, since we have the experience of putting this one together, the next one should go a little bit quicker, so we're gonna get started on that one, but I don't think we're gonna finish it just because we're both just tired today. And honestly, we don't even have a real excuse for why we're tired. It's just like, it's been an exhausting few days. Lots of big talks, lots of emotions, mostly just big talks, but we're gonna get started on the next one and I'm feeling good about it. I mean, okay, what do you guys think? I kind of want your opinion on this because we do have the parts for these two double door paxes, but they also have a single door one, so like a skinnier one. So I was thinking the double door here, and then also work in a single door one and almost fill up the entire cutout and just have like small little gaps on each side. Obviously it wouldn't look like a built-in kind of thing, but it would maximize storage basically. So I'm thinking that's what I want, but in this moment we haven't actually ordered the single door packs, so it's still slightly up in the air. If you were doing this project, would you do that? Just throwing it out there because we haven't ordered it yet. We are very excited that we got both of these done. It took us about 2 hours, 2.5 hours-ish. And we thought about it for 5 extra seconds, and obviously we would move these apart and put the single door one in the middle. And we're pretty happy.
Good work, team.
Grant just looked at it and looked at Luna and he said, we're masters. You always hear people saying that they absolutely hate putting together IKEA stuff. And I wouldn't say it's fun. It's not like I'm like, you know what I want to do today? I want to put together some IKEA stuff. But I kind of like it. I'm not really a puzzle person, but putting together IKEA stuff is like a puzzle to me. And it's satisfying whenever you get it done and you know it's perfect. There's no extra parts. It's not wobbly. I mean, more wobbly than any other IKEA thing, but
Wobble with it.
I'm happy with this. I think, you know, if we decided to make me a Barbie in a box for Halloween, this would also be a good thing. I mean, I wouldn't be movable, but you'd have to put it on rollers and roll me down the street when I was trick-or-treating, you know.
True.
Ideas for the future, you know. Always brainstorming.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so we just got home from having a quick dinner, and honestly, it's too late for me to be doing this, and honestly, I'm probably too tired, but I had my heart set on doing this all week, and I kept putting it off, and it kept not working out, and I didn't have time, and whatever. I am making it happen today. If you saw my vlog a couple of weeks ago, I did this cherry cheesecake dump cake that I found on TikTok, but That was actually plan B. I actually really wanted to make what I'm about to make right now. It's like a pumpkin spice dump cake. I don't know if she made a direct correlation on this one. It's from the same TikTok person, but when I went to go get the ingredients, the grocery store didn't have pumpkin, like 100% pure pumpkin. They only had pumpkin pie filling. I guess they were just bought out or whatever. And so I had to go to plan B, and plan B was the cherry cheesecake, which was amazing. I honestly had my doubts making it. I kind of felt crazy making it, and Grant definitely thought I was crazy making it, but we ended up absolutely loving it. But I'm finally getting to make the pumpkin one, and I'm kind of changing it, not changing it, but I'm adding to it. Not sure if these might make them too sweet, but I'm gonna try to incorporate them. They are just Nestle Toll House filled pumpkin spice flavor baking truffles. I don't even know. I didn't open these. I resisted the urge. But I'm guessing it would go with everything else I've got going on. Let me show you all the ingredients. So the oven is preheating, and here are all the ingredients that I'm working with. These dump cakes are so insanely easy. It takes like 5 seconds to get it all in the pan, and then you just put it in the oven. All right, the cake is in here doing its thing. The butter is melting. It looks like it's going well. And while we wait for that, we're gonna watch a new show. It's on HBO. It's called The Undoing. It has Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant in it. It's like a mini series kind of thing. I hadn't heard about it until today, but we're gonna try it out. Okay, I melted down some caramel, and I'm just gonna kind of drizzle it on top. This went smoother in my mind.
Put it on the water, put it on the water.
Okay, Grant was nice enough to help me finish the caramel job. It got a little globby crazy over here because it started to cool down, because I was in major distress because I burned my finger. I don't know what I was thinking or how that even happened. I have a huge blister on the end of my finger because some of the caramel, when it was super, super hot, grabbed onto the end of my finger and it sticks like hot lava. It hurts so bad. I feel so stupid, but this looks and smells really good, and we're about to try it. Oh no, the camera's dying.
Uh-oh. Rapid taste test.
All right, let's see what we think. Is it really hot?
It's good. Pumpkin-tastic.
Extremely pumpkin. It's very smushy.
Yeah.
It definitely does not have any kind of backbone. I love pumpkin pie, probably because I associate it with my birthday, because my birthday is sometimes on Thanksgiving. I think maybe that's where that comes from. So I love this flavor, but I'm on the fence about whether this one is better than the cherry one. Which one do you like more?
I like the consistency of the cherry one more, I think. You know, this is a little bit too
Smooshy.
too smushy. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see though what happens when we cool it off. Maybe that'll thicken it up some after it cools.
True. Things are different day 2.
I like the flavor. That's good. I mean,
I like it.
So sorry before I do, we do that sometimes.
All right, it's time to wash my face, go to bed. Final thoughts on the dessert. It was really good, but I think I prefer the cherry one just because of the consistency. Obviously the flavors are completely different, so you can't really compare it there. And the pumpkin pie flavor is very fall and very delicious. If that's what you're looking for, definitely try the recipe. That show, however, I cannot recommend. I feel very weird about this show. Parts of it felt like, is this a play? Like, it just felt really weird. I can't say I'm really into it, but I can't say that I won't watch the next episode. Like, I want to see what happens, but it was just really awkward, and I can't say I really enjoyed the first episode. I'm sorry if this vlog was a little shorter than normal. It might not be. I really never know what I'm dealing with until I start editing, but I only vlogged one day, and I know you guys don't really care and you guys understand where I'm coming from, but it's just been a hard couple of days, and everything's gonna get better, and I'm sure this month will fly by. Hopefully we can come up with some fun things that we can do to have some fun and not just, you know, sit around thinking about what if, you know. It's just hard to avoid that, I guess. Tomorrow morning, I will call the doctor, let them know what we've decided, and we'll go from there, see what happens. And I don't know. I can't completely say I'm at peace with the decision, but the decision has been made, and I do think it's what's best ultimately. I appreciate you guys being here. I hope you come back next week and also on Thursday, because I have a new video coming out on Thursday. Thanks. I love you. Bye.